Welcome to Geeks Corner. I'm Mr. Daps.
I'm Katie.
And there's no Jenny tonight because she's off eating pie, even though it is not Pie Day. But we are jealous and we wish her all the best. And good evening to those of you who are joining us in the chat. We do see you, and we are very glad that you're here. And tonight is going to be a fun night because it's been a very fun day in the world of geekdom. I always love this because every week I get this text at like somewhere between, I'm going to say 7 o'clock and 11 o'clock at night on Monday night. And it's Jenny going, all right, what are you talking about this week? Who's on the show? All of those things. And usually it's this scramble of like, I don't know. And so I sent her stuff and I said, well, you're ditching us for pie. So I guess it's just me and Katie. And then this morning I open up my internet and I see there's a new Mandalorian trailer. Well, it's the first Mandalorian trailer for season 2. And I texted Jenny. I'm like, hey, remember all that stuff I said? Don't worry about it. There's a Mandalorian trailer. That's what we're going to talk about. So that is what we're going to start off with. Welcome again as we see everybody hopping on. Every day is Pie Day, if you only believe. That's a good way to think. Was Disneyland still open on Pie Day?
No.
Was it the day after it closed?
I think it was the day after it closed.
Oh, that's not as miraculous as I was hoping.
Disneyland closed on Friday the 13th, if I'm remembering correctly.
That sounds accurate to me. Let us know in the comments. So anyway, Mandalorian has a new... Yes, she's having pie without us.
Yeah.
She's having a Mandalorian. She's not having a new trailer. The Mandalorian is having a new trailer that arrived ahead of its arrival on Disney Plus on October 30th. And first things first, what was your big picture walk away feeling about this trailer?
This is going to be awesome.
Cool.
That was, yeah.
And did you have like a favorite moment, or did you have a concern, or like?
My concern, and this is going to probably be super weird. My concern is that parts of the baby kind of look CGI, if that makes any sense.
It's funny you say that, because I went the complete other way looking at it. To me, part of it looked more and more like a puppet to me this time. And I was like, huh. I mean, I think there was one CGI moment that was very quick. But
I think more in the fact of like in season 1, I was very like, this is a baby Yoda. And I don't know if it's just because maybe I've watched too many behind the scenes things and I've seen too much of like how it works, but I was less convinced.
And Stephen mentioned that there weren't really a whole lot of things being said during this trailer, which is fitting, seeing the first season. I actually think we might have seen a quarter of the dialogue that we're going to get for season 2. I don't know. Clocky is worried that there's not enough porgs. That is a big concern. I would actually laugh super hard if somewhere along the way a porg showed up. I don't know, anywhere. I don't actually care. I thought there was a lot of cool things that seemed to reference different areas of the Star Wars universe. And we've heard rumors that seem to be fairly well confirmed about some characters that are coming to season 2. We won't get into that too much, but we did get a different take on what the Jedi are from a different perspective, which I thought was super cool. And it kind of connects into some things that happened in the Clone Wars, which is an excellent story arc that goes into a lot of the backstory of Mandalore. And that was pretty cool. There was also this scene where I was trying to decide, I'm assuming some of this stuff is out of order because you've got the beginning, you've got was it the Razor Crest? Like sputtering as it's going through, and the back is open, which I'm like, that looks bad. And then next, I think they're walking through this city that looked like graffiti on the wall. And then I was kind of like, oh, is that Lothal from the Clone Wars? And then my initial thought when that girl in the hooded cape showed up, I'm like, is that Sabine Wren? And I'm like, no, that can't be her. I don't think it's what's
being said. That is what's being thrown around.
I think that would probably be a big miss because it's the wrong ethnicity. And I mean, maybe it is, but I think that's something that Disney is usually a little bit more aware of and would keep heading in the right direction. I hope it's a character we've never met before, and it's somebody. I don't know. I don't know who I hope she is. Maybe it's Luke's wife. I don't know. I've told you how it's bugged me that in
Yes,
was it The Last Jedi, the beginning of The Last Jedi, Luke is remembering a moment with his wife, and then it goes nowhere. Like they never returned to it. It's just like, hey, Luke has a wife somewhere back in the past, and then they never came back to it. Really bugs me. But anyway, I'm curious to see if we're going to go to the fall. I'm curious if I'm assuming at some point, like sometime the show has to go to Mandalore. I would think. It also obviously is going to Tatooine, which looks very interesting. And what other interesting parts did you think?
My favorite part is personally when the Mandalorian is being attacked. And
in the boxing ring?
Yes, and he fires up his hand blaster thing. And the child just goes...
Yeah, that was
just my favorite thing of like, uh-oh, dad's gonna fight. I know how this goes. And I also think that's one of the most impactful moments of the trailer is the pitch black screen and simply fighting noises, which demonstrates something that I've thought since the beginning is that the Mandalorian does sound very well.
Oh, it totally does.
Yeah.
And that's something I think that the Mandalorian, like jumping onto the back of that, they do sound really well, and they also do silence really well. Like those kind of moments where you're just waiting. And I actually think that's something that's lost in a lot of movies and TV shows now is you think of like some of the great actors through history, they knew how to play silence. Actually, comedians too, now that I'm thinking about this. But there's something strong to be said for that whole like moment of like, you just have to wait for whatever is coming. I mean, the anticipation grows or the imagination grows or whatever it is. And I love that they use that so effectively in The Mandalorian. Do you think, like, obviously we now know that and this isn't a huge surprise, we know the main point of the show this season is we need to find the child's family, basically. And it sounds like we're going to get pointed towards whatever Jedi exists of the time. So maybe we'll get this huge, I don't know, Luke Skywalker reveal. I doubt it. But, you know, like I could see it going somewhere that direction of like, hey, look, he's training younglings. I don't know. It also looks like we're seeing the beginning perhaps of the First Order. And I'm wondering if that's going to be connected to events at the end of last season with... I'm forgetting his name, the Moff.
Grand Moff Tark. No, Grand Moff
Tarkin.
I am so sorry.
Cool too,
Grand Moff Gideon.
Yes, Gideon.
Moff
yeah,
Gideon.
And that's the one. But I'm almost wondering if he's connected somehow into the origins of First Order, and I think that will be interesting to see how that plays out.
We still need that Darksaber payoff.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Well, and that's connected to Mandalore too. And so Clone Wars goes into that. And that actually, the moment we saw that last season made me think we might see Sabine Wren this season just because she held the dark saber at one point. We're getting asked, do you think Admiral Thrawn will ever pop up? I think there's a distinct possibility. If he does, my prediction last season of this episode, last frame or two, he shows up and then they're like, oh, by the way, you have to wait another year to see what happens. I could totally see them doing something like that.
Yeah.
But to me, that would be a big reveal that you'd want to hold on to and really win with, I think. And that would be super cool, especially with what they left off with Star Wars Rebels. We need to get you through all those, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah, because I just realized I'm throwing out all of these random storylines that they've done through the years. They're good though. Like they've really done. Yeah. And I think there's the possibility for a lot of these storylines to be incorporated because Dave Filoni was behind a lot of these, and so he's just a walking Star Wars dictionary and has more passion for Star Wars than just about anybody. So I could definitely see some of these things being used in the show moving forward, and I think it'd be great. Like I think they have a fantastic team for that. What do you think? Do you think we're going to see Jedi? this season, or are they going to kind of stick with the way they've gone, where it's more?
I think that we are going to see a Jedi. I don't know that they're
Jedi, or just like a end of the season. Here's your child. I don't know.
No, I think there will be a few sprinkled through. Sprinkled. I know that there are rumors of some animated characters coming through. One confirmed, but that character is not a Jedi.
Yeah, that's the trick.
Yeah, that's what I think is really funny. Because obviously we're talking about Ahsoka Tano. And I think the funny thing about Ahsoka Tano is that one of her most famous lines is like, "I am no Jedi." So there's that. But I think that we're going to see a few like markers along the way, at least, of like, you're going in the right direction, or here's who you go to for information, or whatever. I do think that it would be super interesting to see former Jedi.
Oh yeah, that could be cool.
I think that there might be
ones that have been hiding for 20, 30 years or something like that.
Yeah, or ones that maybe the Jedi path wasn't what they had anticipated. Not total Anakin Skywalkers, but people that have information that lead to the Jedi but aren't necessarily affiliated anymore. That's what I would like to see.
Steven's wondering if the woman in the cloak is somewhat of a red herring and that she's actually Sith, maybe. Have we talked about the origin of the child?
No.
This just popped into my head, and it could be completely insane. But has anybody, and I'm sure it has to be out there, has anybody taken the thought that they've already gone down this route? Yeah, we have to have talked about this. The child, what if the child is just a clone of Yoda?
I don't know that we've talked about this on the show.
Okay. I don't think we did, because I think we discussed it before the show once at the beginning when we saw the scientist dude.
Yes.
But I keep coming back to this. Is he seems pretty, I don't know, I'm curious at how developed he is, but not developed. And it just doesn't line up to me with where I expect Yoda's type to, I don't know what to call them, aliens, whatever they are, like their development, it just doesn't seem to quite line up with what I would expect. And that could be me just overanalyzing things. But they're going to do it with Emperor Palpatine, we know. And we do know it's connected to the First Order. So what if this was one of the tries? Like maybe it's a little bit of Yoda.
A little bit of Yoda in my life.
Which would be interesting, because then you could see how that ends up manipulating things. And, Yoda really does know how things work with the Force. And I'm just wondering if that is where this is going to go.
I think it could.
And Steven just said that cloning system previously led the clones to grow up faster. But that could go either way.
And there's also the theory that it was like a cryo something.
Oh yeah, that it was frozen, basically. Yeah. I'm curious. I don't know. Like, I could be 100% wrong, but I don't think they've done anything yet that says that couldn't happen. And I think part of it too is we were just talking about Clone Wars, and the cartoon version of Yoda has bigger eyes than the puppet version. And so I think there's more of that in my head connection of the child with cartoon Yoda. And now I'm just curious. Like, I don't know. Crazy idea. Let us know what you think in the comments. Could this be a Yoda clone? And will we find out? And do you think there's going to be a huge reveal at the end of the first episode? I think there will be something.
That in the first episode?
Yeah, I think, like the first episode last time, we were like, they left us the last second with the child. And I'm wondering if we'll get something like that.
I want to experience something like that again.
Yeah. Although it could be in the middle, and that's the Ahsoka Tano reveal.
That'd be crazy.
That would be crazy. All right. Well, let's keep going on with Star Wars. Star Wars Raiders Outpost opened today at the former home of the Wonderland Gallery in downtown Disney District at the Disneyland Resort. Basically, it's as if they took the shops in Batuu and picked them up and dropped them in downtown Disney, for lack of a better term, and had the locals help out with the sales. And it's actually pretty cool. I'm assuming they have a ton of Star Wars stuff all over the place that they ordered 9 months to a year ago, that they're suddenly realizing this is sitting here and we're going to run out of stuff run out of space really quick. So I'm curious to see if curious to see what kind of merchandise ends up coming into this. But what did you think about Wonderland getting replaced this morning?
Well, one, I hope that this replacement of Wonderground is temporary.
I'm going to assume that it is, and that once Galaxy's Edge is reopened, there's no need for it anymore.
That's what I think. I am guessing that they just need a place. Like you said, there was all this merchandise sitting around, and it needs to go somewhere.
And they can't put it in World of Disney because there's already too long of a line.
Yeah, which makes sense. I personally think it is very funny that they did the whole, we're just covering the sign. What sign are you talking about? This is Star Wars Land now. Mainly because I think that's so funny. And I think it's genuinely funny, not like, haha, look at that.
I think it's great. Yeah.
It's very funny to me. It's also something that would happen in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like,
don't look at this.
There was a sign here. Look at these tattered rags. This is Star Wars now. If Wonderground is permanently gone, I think it'll be a major miss. Mainly because there's been such a great feature for artists. And I've really liked that. But I don't see anything that
they should just put it where the void is.
Well, it could be coming.
That is true.
But I don't see anything that makes me believe this is permanent. Every fixture, everything seems temporary to me.
It is impressive how quickly they turned it over, though. Like that was really cool.
Yeah, I said this about when Pixar Pier opened, because I went to the premiere party the night before, and then I went to opening day like at open. And the way things were so different, I was like this was a matter of hours.
Yeah,
I was like, they moved entire planters. Disney works very hard. So
they're very efficient at those kinds of things. So you don't think it's permanent. I don't think it's permanent. Let us know in the comments if you think it's permanent. And let us know if you've shopped there and what you got there, because we'd love to hear that as well. Let's hop back to Mandalorian. They have been working on Disney has been working on a new feature for Disney Plus that I think would be fantastic for the Mandalorian, and they're calling it GroupWatch. Apparently this has been worked on, or been, some people have gotten to experience it, I should say, in Canada, and it's expected to be released. In fact, it was confirmed to The Verge that it will be released hopefully down here later this year. It would be fantastic if it was released with The Mandalorian, I think, because you can have you and 6 of your closest friends watch a show in sync, which is the best. And they've already done this on Amazon and a couple other streaming services, and there's some apps you can get to do this. But if it's right there in the app itself, I think that would be really cool, especially for, I feel like Disney Plus inherently has more programming that people want to watch together. Like that's just kind of Disney's thing is togetherness and friends and family and stuff like that. And so I think that could be really cool. I hope they get bigger than 6 people, because I think that could be really cool. But what do you think about GroupWatch?
Jeff did steal my joke. I was going to say that you can not watch it Backstreet Boys, but you can watch it in sync. I think my first thought was that this is going to be so good for DAPs Watch.
Oh, totally. That's going to make our lives so much easier.
That was my first thought, was specifically you and I won't have to like worry about if we are out of sync anymore.
Yep.
And if there's anybody that we want to watch with, it'll be so much easier. But especially during the time of COVID, where you can't really have a movie party with your friends, put on FaceTime, put on a movie, watch it with your friends.
In your perfect world, how many people should you be able to do this with?
I don't know. I think that 6 is a good number.
See, I do 10.
Because I don't have that many friends. So, I mean, I'm maxed out at 6.
Okay. Well, I'm just thinking of
That was
most
funny.
of the DAPS movie nights. We have about 10 people in the room.
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
Did. And so it seems to me if we had 10, like that would be more than enough, and it would be like all of the normal people could be able to hop on and watch together, and that'd be cool. I am curious, like when you're watching, I mean, not everybody's jumping onto a web show and being like, hey, we're watching together. Like, are people texting? Are they FaceTime? Like, I'm curious how that element would work for most people. Like I was talking to some friends that did that, and they were just texting while they were watching one of those fundraising Zooms things. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then they could text and put in the chat too. But yeah, I'm curious to see how that part plays out for different people in different groups. And I 100% agree with you, Clocky. DAPS Watch 2020 Boatniks. That needs to be on Disney Plus. It's not there yet, I don't think. Last I looked.
I was gonna say we've already watched Boatniks,
but you can always watch it. Boatniks and The Ugly Dachshund and Blackbeard's Ghost. That's a good one. Shaggy Dog, Shaggy DA. Lots of those old great movies. All of them.
Yeah. So anyway,
they are good.
2020 Earth to Net is coming.
I'd be more impressed if anybody could hear the word Boatniks and hear the soundtrack in their head. Computer Wore Tennis Shoes, absolutely. That Darn Cat. There's lots of good ones. Let us know in the comments what you would like to see on GroupWatch, or as we call it, DAPS Watch. What were you going to say, Katie?
Nothing.
It was that good, huh?
No, sometimes you just ramble off about these Disney live action films
that are so bad and so good at the same time.
I want to pat you in the shoulder and be like, okay, Grandpa, I get it. That was a great time for movies.
Follow me, boys.
I listen to a podcast that frequently references the Apple Dumpling Gang.
That's a fun one, too.
They talk about it so much.
3 Lives of Thomasina, also a good one. Yep, there's Adventures of Bullwhip Griffin. Yep, there is so many good ones. Thank you all in the comments. That's a lot of fun. But I think it would be fun to work your way through the Disney classics, and they need to get all the Disney classics into Disney Plus. So you can actually submit shows that you would like to see on Disney Plus. So you can go onto their website and do that. So Boatniks would be good. Follow Me Boys would be also really good. And those would be my top 2 that I would like to see added. Katie, do you have any that you want to see added?
I don't think so. I mean, most everything I've watched is on Disney Plus.
Okay. Well, the correct answer is all the seasons of The Muppet Show, because that would be my 3rd.
Oh, yeah. I have put that out of my mind as like a possibility. But yeah, I would really like to see that and Muppets Tonight. That
would be fun. Yeah. That would be
Muppets,
really cool. Anything Muppets, more Muppets all the time. That would be very good. So our final topic actually is 2 that kind of come together tonight, but California theme parks and the city of Anaheim have all written to the governor and said, hey, tell us how to reopen, because we need the guidelines so we can know the goalposts for where we need to be aiming for when we do reopen, because that has not come yet. And all we've heard currently from the governor in recent weeks is that they are in discussions and they're getting close. Love Black Hole, Fraggle Rock. Those would both be really fun to watch. I think Fraggle Rock's on Apple TV. Black Hole would be hilarious, I think, as a DAPS watch. Anyway, this is a good game. Let's keep playing it. All the obscure, Black Hole's obscure. All the obscure Disney movies that we could watch as a DAPS watch. But anyway, so it looks like theme parks and a city, which is interesting because Anaheim apparently is losing $100 million because of lack of tax revenue by lack of tourists, which isn't going to come back right away. But so everybody's encouraging the governor to give guidelines for how to reopen, which I think is actually more fair than the headlines I was reading originally, which was, hey, let us reopen. They just want to know what the fence posts are. Is that how you were reading the stories too, Katie?
Yeah.
And what do you think about that?
Well, my biggest takeaway is that I think that it's really funny that a year ago, City of Anaheim was saying, "No, Disney, we don't like you."
We don't want another hotel.
Obviously, I'm paraphrasing, but no, how dare you? We are the City of Anaheim. We don't need Disney. And now they're realizing, oh goodness, we
That
really
hurt.
need Disney. Yeah.
So you really hope something good, like it'd be great
Yeah.
if there was I almost want to say like
Revitalized.
relationship healing between Anaheim and Disney. That'd be great.
Yeah. Mainly because I get that there's a lot of politics involved, and I get that there's a lot of
Probably
gameplay.
more than we could ever know.
Yeah, that happens, especially between the City of Anaheim and Disney proper. But I do hope that this is the beginning of them actually recognizing that Disney is a huge part of the people that come to Anaheim. Because you think of those businesses on Harbor, and they tried to say that you can't build a parking structure there because the bridge will go over Harbor and all these things. But then they're realizing that if no one's coming to Anaheim, there's no one to even go to those businesses on Harbor.
So do you think their request is reasonable? Or should they just wait for the powers that be to figure out what the health and safety guidelines are?
No, I think it's reasonable. Especially when you have Walt Disney World open. And I know that Florida's a different beast entirely. But also SeaWorld is kind of open. Knott's is kind of open. Obviously, they're modified operations. Obviously, the attractions aren't open. SeaWorld, it's just the aquarium parts. Knott's, obviously, it's only the food. But I think that there is a very genuine need to know what's going to happen next. Because they have, gosh, how many employees does Disneyland have alone?
Well, and that's exactly it, is the employees, all of these employees are basically just waiting to come back to work. And it's going to be scary, and it's going to be a challenge for whatever coming back to work looks like. But at the end of the day, especially, like, it wasn't just Disney that was asking for these guidelines. It was also Universal and other theme parks. I think Six Flags as well. And I've had two friends now visit Florida in the space of the last 2 weeks, ironically enough. I think they had overlap. I'm not sure. But I kind of grilled both of them. I'm like, what was it like? And one of them in particular today was just saying, I felt safer going on this entire trip than I do going on a trip down to the grocery store here in Orange County. Like, Disney did such a fantastic job, really, like, keeping the boundaries, keeping the rules, really setting up a environment that he felt safe with their two kids. And, it's all four of them. And one of them has special needs and takes a little bit more, and it worked. And they said it was great, and it felt like a vacation. And they were just very, very thankful for that. And heard similar from my other friend who was like, well, it's Disney and they do it the best. And the travel, they said, was safer than a lot of the travel we hear locally. And so that was kind of eye-opening to me, because, that's not exactly what we hear just in chatter and we see on Twitter and all these things. And so it kind of makes you realize that Disney, at the end of the day, even though it's all about the almighty dollar, the almighty dollar comes from keeping guests happy and safe. And so they've got a vested interest in that. And I do think it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out, because I haven't seen any reaction from the government yet on what this is going to look like. And I don't think they even have to, I don't think California has to say you can open in 2 weeks. I think what they need to do is, these are the numbers that we're aiming for. And when the numbers stay this way for this long, this is the way that it could work. And I believe the California Theme Park Association or something like that has actually proposed given a proposal for what reopening could look like. And I just think it'd be nice to have the conversation being had, as opposed to kind of leaving everybody in the dark and not really having hope for a way forward.
Yeah, and I mainly feel for cast members and team members at Universal and employees at Six Flags and I mean, heck, my first job was at a theme park and they've been closed for the last 6 months. And there was so many people that I knew that was how they paid the bills. And
the
so,
peripherals too. Like there's
yeah,
that level, and then there's the level out that deal with tourists as well. But then there's all of these people that are working that also have to go buy food, get haircuts, whatever it is, and so it's just this huge ripple effect. And I don't know what the answer is, but it does seem like they need to start moving something forward.
I agree.
There's my opinion for the night. That was so hard hitting. I know, disappointing. If it was easy, everybody would want the job. But it'll be interesting to see. Do you have a prediction on when Disneyland reopens?
What day is it? September 15th. I think that at least in the next month, we will know an opening date. I think for sure November 1st.
By November 1st?
Yes. I think Disneyland will be open on the day of November 1st. Maybe before that. But
I'm gonna say, just to keep things interesting, since we don't have Jenny here, let's say October 15th.
A month from today.
I think that's ridiculously ambitious, but it'll keep things interesting, right?
Stay interesting.
Yes. So I think by October 15th is what I'm going to say. But yes, anyway, we are running out of time for tonight. So Caitie, if people would like to continue the conversation, what should they do?
Go to dapsmagic.com. Is that the answer to that question? Find all the Disney and geek news as it happens. Find everything we talk about and more, because believe it or not, we can't fit all the news in a week into 30 minutes. Also subscribe to our mailing list because we post a lot. And you can find our Patreon where there's some fun things.
That is correct. And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we've got lots of videos going up. We've still got videos from Florida that are going up on a almost daily basis. We've also got a tour of that Star Wars Traders Outpost that is up as of this afternoon. And we have a ton of other videos in the works as well, including the Disney This Day with daily Disney trivia with our good friend Egon Bunkers. But yes, I know you love him. But that is... Absolutely. We'll let him interview you sometime. But that is all the time we have for you this week. So we will see you round the corner.
Bye.